Hello, YouTube. Long time. Well, I guess not so long time no see at this point. It hasn't been too long. Maybe I think maybe like 2 or 3 weeks. I haven't checked as of today how long ago my most recent upload was, but probably in that ballpark, 2 to 3 weeks since kind of the conclusion of my with youth era of videos, which I believe my last one was the storing video for all my album inclusions. Speaking of that, I did before we get into the main topic of this video, which isn't technically a twice group video. It's more focused than that. I did want to show that in that time, so I'm recording this as of it is currently June 20th that I'm recording this, the afternoon of June 20th. And I did want to show quickly. This is one of my twice group photo card binders, as was shown last time around. And we go to With Youth, and we see, I just wanted to show off real quick, my completed With Youth album photo card collection. Now, we've seen most of this before. I stored all these cards in my last video, so nothing new here yet, except we arrive at this page. This is the only page I had that has had any changes made to it since storing that video. Sana and Mina, for the Forever version Nemo special cards, actually arrived since then. I found trades and traded for them, and they've arrived since, and they're here. So now, with those two additions, we are just looking at a complete full OT9 set of With Youth photo cards. So I just wanted to show that, because I'm very happy that they came in fairly recently. I think about Sana I got a trade for pretty quickly after my last video filming, after my storage video. So she's, I've had her in the binder for a while, but Mina actually came in less than a week ago. So, pretty glad to have With Youth all completed and there for me to, appreciate. As for the topic of this video, I'm going to be unboxing this. So it's June 20th, as I mentioned, which means it's been just under a week since the release of Nayeon's second mini album, Nah. I am still waiting on a large order from a retailer that contains all of the copies I will need for collection purposes of the other versions of the normal photo book version. So a full set of those plus an extra copy, because you need 4 copies in terms of like the amount of photo cards you need to trade for the full set. But there's only 3 versions, so I just got a random extra copy of one of the versions. And then 3 copies of the Digipack, because that's how many you need for collecting. And then 3 copies of the Nemo album, again, because that's how many you need to collect a full set. In a similar vein, I have this huge, and let me get, what's a good size comparison? Here's a With Youth JYP pre-order card series, just an extra I have laying around. It's that big. So what this is the brand new, the first time this has ever been done with Twice, is a brand new type of album. So if you categorize the other album, like, the photo book / normal versions as like one type of album, then the Digipacks are like another type of album, and then the Nemos are a third type of album that we are now more familiar with, right? We've had all 3 of those for at least a couple of comebacks, the Nemos being the most recent addition. This is the newest and first time they're doing what is essentially a 4th type of album. And I don't know for sure. I suspect that they won't do exactly this type of album for every single comeback. Is probably going to be the case with the Digipacks and the Nemos. Like, those are just versions. Like, those are just types of albums that I think we should expect now for Twice releases. But I don't necessarily think we should expect at least something super identical to what this album is, what this album type / version is. This seems a little more kind of tailored for Nayeon's comeback. But I could totally see them doing bigger, like this fourth type of album, like something somewhat similar for future releases. So we'll see. But what this actually is the limited edition A to Z version of Na. This one's upside down, I think. Yeah. And it's huge. As you know, the photo card again for comparison. This shit is massive. And that's because it contains a couple really unique, cool goodies. You see I have 3 copies here. I ordered 3 copies because, like with the Digipack and the Nemo editions, you need 3 copies to fully collect. The only random, like, 1 of X inclusion in this version, in this type of album for Na, is the actual photo card, with which each copy comes with 1 of 3 photo cards, 1 of 3 possible photo cards. So that's why you need 3 you don't need. I needed 3 copies to have a full, like, trade set of her photo cards. That being said, since it's the only random inclusion, I'm really only gonna go through like 1 album's worth of like everything, and then just kind of speed run opening the last 2 albums, pretty much just the photo cards for them. Also, interestingly, so all of these copies, like this is the front of the album, right? The front cover with kind of a lot of, not stock images, but kind of like an assortment of different kind of abstract images. Same thing with the back. Most of this is related to stuff that she showed in the teaser or in some of the album promo, so it's not unrelated. It's just kind of randomly assembled images. But so this is the front cover, and you can tell all three albums are facing up as I have them here on the table. But when you turn them upside down, this one in the middle doesn't have the little pull tab. So I'm wondering if they were like hand packed, and maybe the pull tab on this copy, this specific copy, and probably a few others, was just accidentally like put in backwards, and it'll be on this side, which you can't really see because it's a slipcase essentially. So I guess I'll be interested to see if that's the case. But this is the copy we're going to go through for the most part. I'm going to try to open this carefully with my big Counter-Strike box cutter. Poke in there very carefully. I do not know where this is going to go on my shelf. So I'm pretty acutely aware at this point of all the inclusions that come in this version. So I'll kind of explain each thing as we go. And it opens like this. You just pull. Oh, it's upside down. Oh, okay. So you turn it like this, and then there it is. So it's a slipcase. It's like an open top box within a slip, like this slipcase, which is the actual album cover. Oh, there she is. So the first inclusion, oh, and some of the other stuff is like inside of, like slipped inside of this. So I'm going to try to slide it out slowly. There's no random inclusions to really spoil yourself on that are easily viewable. So I'm not gonna. So this is essentially the photo book for this version. Oh, this is cool. It's like it's like a flyer. Like it's literally a flyer for the mini album, styled the way like a flyer would be if you were like, if someone printed out if like she had printed out flyers for her comeback and stuck them on like, you know, around town on like lampposts and stuff. This is what that would look like. So it's a very cool little nod of an inclusion. Obviously, it's quite nicer than, in terms of quality, like of the paper and the print, than I think an actual like home printed flyer would be. But it's a cool little homage to the concept. And the same thing with the newspaper. So that's what this is. And this is actually I seen like one or two unboxings for this just because I got tired of waiting for my copies. For any info about it, so I just kind of spoiled myself, which, you know, will happen sometimes. This is the newspaper. It's called a newspaper. It is a newspaper. It's like newspaper size. And also newspaper thickness. There's a lot of pages to this, and they're really thick. Like, I'm here holding it, and, like, it's a lot sturdier, heavier, and thicker paper. Nice, like, really nice. Like, the print quality is amazing. Like, it's a lot... It's a lot higher quality in general than I thought it was going to be just reading newspaper as the inclusion. So let me move this stuff real quick. I'm not going to go through the full newspaper, which again essentially is the photo book for this version. Half because I don't do that in general. That's kind of my policy, as I've said a couple times. Oh, here on the back is the track list. Oh, that's dope. So half of the reason I'm not going to go through it is because of my normal policy on that sort of thing, but also because it's very unwieldy. Like, again, I'm not going to go through it, but I'm just going to open to a random page and, like, kind of... Ooh. And this photo is kind of blurry. It doesn't look as blurry on camera, I guess, until you go closer up. Yeah, you can tell. But it's very clearly printed that way on purpose because this photo is super clear. So it's like a stylistic blur, which is pretty cool. But yeah, so really high quality stuff here for the newspaper. A lot more than I was expecting. Not that I was expecting anything bad, because I've said it in a couple of videos that I do think Twice are really good about making all their stuff, all their album inclusions and merch and stuff, as high quality as you could ever hope for at the prices, at the price points. But I don't know. I just expected this not to be not to feel this good in terms of material quality. So yeah, but that's a newspaper, so you get one of those. And like I said, it's quite a few pages, and again, the paper's pretty thick too, so pretty happy with that as an inclusion. I'll take a look through that later on my own. Oh, I spoiled it. Okay. So here's the random photo card. And I think it actually, I've seen, okay, so before I talk about that or look at it, this is another inclusion. It's like a little message holder. So, dear ones, I hope you enjoy my second mini album, Nah. See you soon, love Nayeon. Very cute. I've seen some unboxings where, depending on how they slide the inclusions out of the newspaper, I think the photo card is packed in here with this one of one. This is not a random inclusion. This comes the same in every single copy. It's kind of like an ID card. I forget exactly what it's called on the inclusion preview, but it's essentially like a Formula of Love style ID card in a sense. It's made of the same. It's I don't know if it comes through on the camera. You can see it's thick. It's that same sort of thicker plastic material. So that's really cool. Here's the CD in a pretty nice paper slipcase. Oh yeah, and I saw that it's this is the front of the CD, so it's one of those high reflect, just essentially just the same finish as the back, the actual laser readers, the side that a laser reads on the front, except with the track list and a little stylized box right there. And I think all the other CDs from the other versions are the same format, just different colors for the boxes, and that's how they're kind of differentiated. But this is actually my first, well, these set of 3 albums are my first copies of the physical CD, which is actually important to me because I use a nice stereo system in my car with a CD changer. So having physical copies of Twice's albums is something I do utilize pretty often in my life. So I've been waiting to receive any of my copies for I've been anxiously waiting for it. so I can finally listen to Na in my car, which I haven't been able to do in the week or so since it's come out. Here is the postcard. Again, this is a 1-of-1 inclusion. The photo card is the only random inclusion, but this is a postcard that's exclusive to this version. In probably my favorite of her concepts in terms of her personal styling, like her styling, in the white mini dress with the pigtails, she just looks insane here, dude. Like, goddamn. I think this photo card or this postcard it looks significantly bigger than a normal 4x6 inch album postcard. Let me see. Here's an extra Between 1 and 2 postcard, Junggi making a cameo. Oh yeah, it's like a lot bigger. How the fuck do I store this? It is cool though. I'll figure out a way to store my copies. I might only keep one. I'm gonna keep all the photo cards. Obviously, I ordered the amount of albums I did specifically because I need that many photo cards for my collection to like either, ideally I can pull the other 2 possible photo cards from the other 2 copies, so maybe I won't need a trade at all, but if I do, I need to end up with all 3 of the photo cards. So that's why I ordered this many copies, but aside from keeping the photo cards, I might end up reselling the other 2 down the line. Though maybe not, for a reason I'm about to talk about. Either way, however many copies of this postcard I end up with, I'll be curious to see how I end up storing this. But it's very cool. It's very cool. Like it's just a gorgeous shot, man. This is one of my favorite photos of her. One of my favorite styling like concepts Nayeon's ever done. And then the back. And again, the actual album photo card. 1 of 3 possible, all 3 of which are exclusive to this version of the album, the limited version. So hopefully I can pull the other 2 possible types of like the other 2 different photo cards that are possible in the other 2 versions. We'll see. My odds are actually not that bad, to be honest. The worst case scenario is I pull all 3 of this, like all 3 of them are this exact photo card, so I get 2 dupes. But any of the other possible scenarios are not that bad. Really, it's just either that, or I pull 1 other unique photo card and then get 1 dupe, or I pull all 3 unique photo cards. And if I pull 1 dupe, 1 trade is really not that bad. So the only scenario I really want to avoid is having to do 2 trades. So that brings us to the last inclusion, which is probably the reason the box is this big and like everything is kind of sized like a little oversized comparatively to other versions of other albums. And that's this, which is what is the material they said it was? The tarpaulin. It's a material I'm pretty familiar with. It's like a pretty standard material for this sort of thing. It's basically like a tote bag, like a nice little tote bag. And Nayeon actually previewed this in the teaser for her music video a little while before actually a couple weeks before this version of the album became a known thing that was being released. And people, before they knew about this album being a thing, this version of the album being a thing, were actually like kind of clamoring online. Like I saw a bunch of people being like, I want that tote bag, because she had this tote bag on in the opening scene of her teaser. So it's pretty cool. Nayeon did a little preview for it. It's kind of small relative to other, like I'm used to like this sort of bag from like a Walmart or like a grocery store being like a decent amount bigger than this one is. But it's still big enough to like I like the idea of having a bag like this that's like this. So first of all, the quality is really nice. This is like without question the nicest type of this bag, like of this material that I've ever had or seen, which is good to see. I'm glad to see that even though conceptually like this is a cheaper kind of bag overall, that at least you know, they took it pretty much as high quality as you can make a bag like this, which is nice to see. Yeah, the strap material looks good. It's solidly stitched. The material, the print quality of the materials are really nice. Like, I'm surprised at how good the images look. I don't know how well they come across on camera, but they look really, they look really sharp for the material, again. Oh, there she is right there. So I'm pretty excited to have this bag, and like, it's small enough that like, I sometimes do, in this, you know, your mileage may vary on how useful you'll find a bag like this, but I definitely do think I will get a lot of use out of either this bag, or maybe I'll decide to keep the other 2 copies and just have like 3 of this bag. Because there are often times where like I have, like, I don't carry often enough stuff to warrant more than just having normal like jean pockets, or like, you know, maybe I'll wear a hoodie and be able to use hoodie pockets for certain things that I carry normally. But when I do carry some specific stuff, it's usually stuff like some board games, or depending on where I'm going, if I'm going to like a friend's house for something, like maybe controllers for like a game console we're gonna play or something. Just stuff that isn't huge but is a little too big to really feasibly pocket and take anywhere in like my jean or like my coat pockets. And this is actually a really good size for a lot of the stuff like that I'm kind of envisioning using it for. Because often if I use a bag like this for that sort of stuff, it ends up being too, like, the bag is just too big. And I think this will comfortably fit a lot of the stuff that I would use it for. So I personally am pretty excited for this bag being these dimensions. But yeah, pretty hype. I'm actually really happy with this, so I'm heavily considering just keeping all 3 copies of this version fully, so I can just keep the bag, because I don't think they'll really be very easy or worth reselling without the bags. So we'll see. But yeah, so that's the first copy, and the only one I'm going to go through completely, as I mentioned. For now, I'm just going to put everything back, except for the photo card. Oh god, One Spark is so fucking good. I don't know why I did. I guess Nayeon's album played all the way through. I was too busy talking to hear each track. So gonna slowly, just for now, I'll go through and grab out the inclusions I actually need from each copy later on my own time. Oh, this is... Okay, there we go. I just had it misaligned. Not the easiest album to put everything back in, but that's fine because I will be taking a lot of this stuff out permanently later on my own time. And there we go. So as mentioned, the other 2 copies, I'm just going to speed run for the photo cards because everything else that I showed from that first copy is identical except for the 1 of 3 photo card in both of these other copies. God, these are really nice. Every time Twice release, like, preview a new album version, I'm a little skeptical as to like how it'll pan out in terms of like I'm always happy to have more stuff to collect because I'm like, you know, I can just collect at my own pace, and like I do enjoy genuinely collecting everything they release. So I just kind of see extra stuff to collect as like even more goodies. But I am a little skeptical sometimes about like how these like extra versions will be executed in terms of like quality. But at this point, I really shouldn't be because I just think they have the best quality stuff of like almost everything. Like all their stuff is just like the nicest. Like I was super impressed with the Nemo album quality, like the actual physical quality of the Nemo albums and these like the cards within them. I was super impressed with that, even though I kind of was skeptical of the Nemo albums conceptually before I got them in hand. So at this point, I just like, oh yeah, okay, so yeah, so I guess these albums were hand like put together because whoever did this one did put this little the pull tab in like in the slipcover side, like facing the closed side of the slipcover. So it wasn't like it didn't actually help me on this side to pull it out. That's kind of funny, but that's kind of cool to see that they are hand assembled. Oh, god damn it. Okay, so that is a dupe. Okay, that's fine. And like I said, I'm going to go ahead and not even bother taking any of the stuff out. I will put it back in the way I think it was meant to be, though, with the little little thumb cutouts on the correct side. Final copy, please. Not 3 dupes. I was kind of not expecting, realistically, to get all 3 of the unique cards I needed from these versions. But if I can just avoid 3 dupes, like 3 of the same card, I'll be happy. Okay, so let's see. Fingers crossed. Where's the photo card? Is it in here? It is. Oh no! Ah! This is a really cute card, to be fair. It's kind of copium, so it is a dupe. If you weren't able to tell by my reaction, so I did get all 3 of this specific. Like I guess people call this a duck face. I guess I'll call it the duck face card of this album version. I got all 3 of the duck face card with the Louis V hat, the beret. I think this might actually be my favorite photo card because I have seen previews of all, like I know what all 3 photo cards look like. And I do think this might be my favorite of the 3. So I was actually kind of low-key happy to, like pretty happy to pull it the first time. And if there was only one I could have a little sooner than the others, like, you know, obviously I'm going to trade 2 of these. I'm not too unhappy with it being this one because, again, pretty sure it's my favorite of the bunch. But goddamn, man, we really got 3. God damn it. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I get it. After my Nemo album luck, I will never really, like, I don't have room to complain, really. So yeah, there's the damage. I am pretty excited to trade for the other 3 out. Both trade for the other 2 of the A to Z version photo cards I need, but also in general collect Na, like all of her inclusions for Na, because I think Nayeon really killed it with this album. Not only musically, of course, like I've had the album on repeat. It's fucking phenomenal. Like musically, the album is damn near perfect. But in terms of the photo cards, from what I've seen, like previews of, like Nayeon just knows how to take some bomb ass selfies, man. So I am definitely very hyped to collect this era, and ideally it won't take 3 or 4 months after. I guess it ended up being. It did end up being closer to 4 months after With Youth that I finally got the last Mina card. So I guess it is technically like somewhere between 3 and 4 months, you could say accurately. Preferably a lot less for collecting Na, but we'll see. Either way, shorter video than I think has been the trend for me recently, but that's not a bad thing necessarily. But, thanks for watching my unboxing if you made it all the way through. And I will be doing an unboxing for my other versions once they get in. So, look for that if you're interested. And till next time. Bye, YouTube.